Good afternoon, traders. This is Tony D from the easyMarkets dealing room in Sydney. An update for you today. It is RBA day, so we better focus on the Aussie dollar here. Aussie dollar has been very quiet, ranging between 74.50 and 73.50 for the past few weeks. Downside ranges on the extremes have tested 73.20 a couple of times, but in general, there is a general gist here that trade wars, while they're serious, aren't really developing to that negative next level. And some of the data in the past couple of weeks has been pretty supportive of the Aussie dollar. That really stellar jobs number, 50k, will probably be respected a little bit here by the RBA when they meet. But in terms of the worsening US-China trade wars, that could also create some downside risks in their language, and also in terms of the housing price fall in Sydney and Melbourne. That is also probably going to be commented on. So more of a balanced view. I shouldn't see too many fireworks either way, unless they're surprisingly dovish. The market won't be able to take it down here. In terms of CNY, which is the main driver for the Aussie dollar in the Asian session, it's under pressure a little bit today, so you are seeing a little bit of support coming through for gold and for Aussie in the last couple of minutes. And so there is too much expectation either way here that there's going to be a big move. In terms of the US dollar rally that we've seen in the last couple of days, petering out a little bit above this 95 level, hasn't really retested the high from July. So we have got as high as 795.40 before the reversal in July, and then at the moment we're back at 95.12. The US dollar had a challenge on the top side last night. Didn't really kick over. You're not getting much support from the dollar yen. Dollar yen's not really partaking in this US dollar, so it has to be led by the euro, and euro is finding a little bit of support in the lower 115s. The pound's very weak as the uncertainty about Brexit continues to put the sellers in control. Buyers really can't get aggressive here until we get the some sort of inclination that there is a deal coming, or some of the breakthroughs that we're looking for on the Northern Ireland border, something there that the market can latch onto. Otherwise, the selling continue even in its oversold state. You can see here fresh lows, multi-month lows, and weekly here is just extremely oversold. But it's okay in terms of hasn't really pushed any panic buttons yet. 127 to 125 is the downside targets here for the bears. You can easily see that 127 being tested again in the coming weeks if there's no resolution on the Brexit deal. In terms of how big a deal is it if there's no Brexit, well, I mean, it opens up the door to potentially testing some of the the Brexit lows, so sub 125 down to even potentially 120 if the market really wants to get bearish. But at that point, probably going to rely on US dollar weakness or strength. If the US dollar is weakening at the same time as the pound's weakening, you may get some mitigation there in a no deal scenario. On the top side, fasten your seatbelts if there is a deal. The market's heavily oversold here. You could see a spring back of at least 500 to 1,000 pips within a week on a deal announcement or progress, and the market was very aggressive in the earlier part of the year once it looked like there was a deal being formed. You got that rally from 135 to 143 in a 2-week rally there. So that was 800 pip move on the first signs of a deal. So you could easily see something repeated and maybe even bigger from the lower levels here that we're seeing. So it is something to be watching from a medium-term point of view. But in the short term, it is under pressure and likely to go lower each day. There isn't any new support. So the Aussie dollar, so resistance in the short term today is going to be that 74.10. If we can get above that, then it opens up the door to 74.30 to 40. On the downside, 73.50 is pretty solid. It's going to take a pretty bearish report to break through that, or some sort of new Chinese antagonism. US stocks are quite strong and ignoring the trade war, so the market in general isn't playing risk off too aggressively at the moment. So it is hard to have a strong bias either way when it comes to the Aussie dollar, and don't expect too much from the RBA in terms of changing that. Alright guys, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll have a full update of what comes out. The RBNZ on Thursday might be a little bit more interesting. We'll give a preview of that tomorrow. It does come out early in the morning, 7 AM Sydney time, so I have to do the preview tomorrow during the Wednesday update. If you have any questions about today's movements, or if you want to talk a bit more particular about some of the big things happening in the market, including the pound, give us a call on the number below. if you're not a member of the easyMarkets dealing, you can sign up and get a dealer like myself to assist you with your trading, help you plan out stops and take profits and levels and how to approach your trading risk management wise. It is important that you can get someone to help you with your trading if you're new, and even if you're experienced. Having a risk manager there also does provide a next level of assistance that otherwise trading by yourself makes it a lot harder.